Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new year, 2024. Super exciting time for every business owner out there. I'm sure you guys have a lot of goals. And the thing that I want to share with you today is if you want to achieve those financial goals, whatever it is, it's more about what you don't do than it is about the things that you actually do, right? It's things you avoid doing. And I want to share a story of the marketing mistake I made. The one thing I did which cost me in the region of $100,000 to $150,000, somewhere around that ballpark, right? Definitely within the six figures. And hopefully me sharing this with you, that there is a deeper message behind this, and that's the thing I want to focus on towards the end. And understanding that, I think, will help you guys just by avoiding the mistakes. That'll help you guys hit your financial goals, at least not lose a stack of cash. So to start off, what this story is essentially, marketing strategies, all it is different ways to acquire a customer. Essentially, it's if we do this thing or if we do this thing, then we hope to get more clients or customers in. Cool, that's it. With that out the way, this marketing strategy that we were using, it was essentially utilizing direct messages to people through Instagram, right? Cold DMs. Now, a lot of times when I say that, people think, oh, cold DMs, it's annoying, it's bothersome, it doesn't work. We made a fuck ton of cash from cold DMs. We still do cold DMs. We still rinse it with cold DMs, right? And how this story was framed is we started on a very particular strategy that worked so well for us. And we were doing well. And I distinctly remember the point that it changed. It wasn't because our, team was shit or whatever it was. It was because of one person that we had messaged, okay? And I distinctly remember what this was. We messaged this guy, same pitch we did with everyone else, and it was working well for the majority of people. But this guy came back to us and he said, man, if only you just asked me a few more questions and actually understood me, like my business, I probably would have gotten on a call, right? But you didn't ask me anything, you didn't do whatever. And because of that, I'm uninterested, man. And I remember I was very naive back then, right? It was the very beginning of my coaching business. And so I was kind of asking him questions. I was like, or not asking, I was like defending my position. I was saying, well, listen, man, sometimes we've tried it and it doesn't work. He's like, oh, we're just not saying the right things. You're not trying hard enough. And I took that one interaction with this prospect who was never going to buy from me. I want to make that clear. If it was such a mission for him to get on a free call, he was never going to buy from me, right? But I was under the assumption that if I just asked the right things the right way, then he would have joined. And if it's true for him, it's true for everyone else. I completely ignored all of the evidence that our method was working before him. I was focusing on this one guy, right? That is the mistake, right? I put all of my attention on this one feedback, this one criticism from someone who was never going to buy from me in the first place, right? And in doing so, we completely changed our DM strategy. Different questions, different scripts. And while it still worked to a degree, compared to the results we were getting before with our original framework and the results we were getting now, that margin there, for as long as we were testing this new strategy, cost us in the region of $100,000, right? Unbelievable. And I learned that lesson too late. Then we switched back to the original strategy, we enhanced it. This is where we get into the deeper lesson here. We switched back to what was working, we improved the areas we could improve, and then bang, shot way back up. Better than we ever did before. We were getting high quality people on the phone, closing them for higher amounts. The script was getting better response rates, everything was working seamlessly, and the script was shorter, right? And so much so to the point where I actually don't have to do anything in the DMs at all. I'm completely removed. Even when it comes to sending personalized aspects, I'm completely removed, right? So now that process, focusing on what was working originally and just improving it, now we're way back up, right? And this has been a thing, years in the making, right? And to kind of show you that story arc, where it all went wrong was that I didn't back myself. I was switching to a strategy that was unproven, just based off the advice from one guy who was never ever going to buy from me in the first place. And this is where so many entrepreneurs go wrong, is they do their strategy, and while they see a few results, they get the shiny object syndrome. This is starting to work, but this person says there's a more effective strategy that could work 10 times as well. Let me just scrap everything that I've done and focus on this. And that happens to everyone at every stage, right? The best entrepreneurs have the self-control to analyze where that impulse is, right? Because most people would, in their inclination, be distracted by something like that. But the best entrepreneurs have self-control to identify where they may have gone wrong, right? Instead of jumping ship, just focus on what's working, right? And improve it, enhance it, and then keep scaling it. And to the point where it doesn't work anymore and you've maxed it out, that's when you bring on board a new strategy. This is exactly what we did. And so after, like I said, we went back to the original thing, we improved it, it got to a point where it was working really well, kind of hit our plateau, right? And while I could have got more VAs on board to send messages for me, have more Instagram accounts, I decided, cool, I'm going to maintain it how it is now, and we're going to go into ads. And when we did that, skyrocket, just 10x everything we were doing with the right ads. For a launch campaign, for example, we'll spend maybe $20 a day US and book another 5 to 10 calls, which is insane, but our process is so dialed in. And so now we have both incredible systems that work well. And instead of employing a brand new strategy, my focus, especially into 2024, is, at least for the first quarter, just work on enhancing both of these that are already working. Get a better funnel, get better ads out there, spend more money on the ads, and then push that up. And this is my advice to you guys as well. If you're coming into 2024 and you had something that worked really well, stick with it, enhance it. Go all in on that. Don't jump ship, right? You will burn all the progress you made going into 2024. Don't do that. Stick with what's working, enhance it, put more into it. And when you get to that new point where there is a new plateau, even after the enhancements, right? That's the place where you should consider a new strategy, whatever that looks like to you, right? If you're going into 2024 and it's the opposite, you've tried all these strategies, nothing's really working, this is the time to stick with one thing. Do your research. Whoever you want to work with, whether a mentor or a new strategy, do your research. If that strategy aligns with your goals in 2024, if you can believe in that strategy that, yeah, okay, this doesn't require as much work, much manual work, it's automated, which is fantastic, and it's scalable, it's also very predictable, this is a strategy I want, then great. Go all in on that, stick with that, don't jump ship, okay? And just taking a look at my notes real quick, for the most part, right, when you get criticism, for example, from other people on a strategy that you're using, take it with a grain of salt. Really analyze, okay, would this person have actually jumped on board with me? Would they actually have become a client? Not even just a sales call. Would they have bought from me? If no, then I don't give a fuck about their advice, whatever it is, even if it's disguised as helping you. Right? I don't give a fuck about it. If they're not going to buy from me, I don't care, right? Because seriously, anyone can have an opinion, but the only people whose opinion I care about is people who have given me their money. If they say, hey, Corbin, I think you could have done this a little bit better in the program or whatever, hey, I want to hear about that. Great, let me take that on board. Let me analyze it. But don't be sporadic with the advice you take on board. Stick with one thing, back yourself the whole way. If it's not working, enhance it, do better at it. If it's still not working, then move to a more effective strategy that you've done research about, then stick it, right? So hopefully, guys, that makes sense. That is the story of how I missed out on $150,000 of potential cash if I just sticked with what was working instead of jumping ship, listening to someone who was the wrong person to give me advice. So guys, hope that saves you a tremendous amount of money and just gives you clarity going into 2024. So all the best, guys. And by the way, if you do want to take a look at any of our strategies, I'm going to link some of the videos below, just showing you what our strategies look like. If it aligns with you, if it's something that you want to do, absolutely, you can go ahead, book in a call as well. We can chat a little bit about where you're at in your fitness coaching business and see if we might be able to help you get to the next level in 2024. So with that said, guys, I'll leave it there. All the best.